everyone, today we are going to be making chicken enchilada casserole. So you're going to need some of these basic ingredients: enchilada sauce, chilies, tortillas, beans of any kind, and cheese of any kind. You're also going to need a casserole dish or a 9.5 by 11 cake dish. And you're also going to need chicken for your chicken enchiladas, and you'll shred it in your crock pot before cooking.
Hi, so Malia and I are going to make enchiladas, but we call this enchilada casserole because I get lazy and I don't like to roll all the enchiladas.
Yes.
So I figured out a way to make it like a lasagna, taste like an enchilada, but it's way easier to make. So the first thing that we do is we take our enchilada sauce and we put it at the bottom of the pan because we want to make sure that we have a little bit of moisture to make those tortillas soft. And so our first layer is actually just a slight layer of enchilada sauce, coating of sauce. And now Malia's going to lay our tortillas in, and they're round. So she breaks them into halves, and then she places them along the edge to make sure that we cover all of our edges. So now that we have a layer of tortillas, we're going to go ahead and add a little bit more sauce. This is the only layer that we do like double sauce on. And again, it's just so that your casserole stays moist. If you've ever made lasagna, that first day it's really juicy and then the next day it's a little bit drier. So we like ours to stay juicy, so we add just a little bit more sauce. And we're just trying to cover the tortillas so that we can get sauce on all the tortillas.
Good. Next, we are going to take our pinto beans. We have spicy pinto beans with jalapenos, and you're just going to put a nice even layer on top of your tortillas and sauce.
And any beans work. So we've used refried beans. We didn't happen to have any, and I didn't feel like making them, so we're just using whole beans. We actually already made one of these casseroles and we used black beans in it. So this time we're using pinto beans, whole pinto beans. And we just like to make sure everybody gets beans in every bite.
Next, we have mild diced green chilies. You can use hot, you can use whatever kind of chilies you want, but it'll just add a nice little bit of flavor. And you're just going to sprinkle those on top of that layer of beans.
We're not trying to burn anyone's mouth, so we're not doing like this even coating. We're just putting a little bit in there for a little bit of spice. The beans that we had chosen also had a little bit of diced jalapenos in them. So there will be a little bit of spice in this, but not a lot. But you can use just plain. You don't have to use jalapenos. And if you don't like peppers at all, you can leave this can of peppers out completely.
It's probably good.
Okay, so earlier today I put 6 chicken breasts in my crock pot and I let it cook for somewhere around 6 to 7 hours, and then I shredded my chicken using 2 forks and just pulling it apart. I left all the juices in there and I didn't add anything to it. I just stuck my chicken breasts in. Then I shredded it, and now it's ready to go into my casserole. So Malia's going to just scoop some out and place it in the casserole. And again, we're a big fan of everybody getting a nice amount of meat, so we do a pretty generous layer. So this is our layer of chicken. And then Malia reminded me that I should tell you how much we use. It's on the recipe, but it's about 4 chicken breasts, large chicken breasts, per like 9 by 11 cake pan, or this is like a lasagna pan, so it's a little bit taller, so I still use the same 4 chicken breasts for this. So
next we are going to add a layer of cheese. You can use whatever cheese you like. We're a really big fan of the Mexican 4 cheese blend. It's very nice, not too sharp. You're just going to put a nice light coating of cheese on top of your chicken. Light because some people don't like cheese in our family. I love cheese, so I would totally just pile it on, but that's not allowed. Just make sure you get a little bit everywhere. And there's going to be multiple layers of cheese, so don't worry if you like cheese. You can add a lot more later.
So we usually do light in the middle of our layers, and then our top coating is like a nice shell of cheese. So now we're back to kind of the beginning. And so we did tortilla, sauce, beans, chilies, chicken, cheese, and now we're back to the tortilla layer. So Malia's doing the same thing that we did in the beginning, and we're putting our tortillas down, And then we'll throw a layer of sauce. So you can see how nice and perfectly we've measured everything. We're really just kind of throwing it into a layer and trying to cover things up. The sauce is one for flavor, but also like with lasagna, it moistens that tortilla. And so you want some sauce to kind of seep into your chicken and to seep into your tortillas. When we cooked our chicken, we didn't add anything to it, no flavoring. So the sauce and the chilies and the beans are where the flavors of the tortilla or the enchilada come from.
Beans come next. Again, just a nice even coat if you like everyone to have a nice bite of beans.
So this is like a high protein meal, beans and chicken.
It tastes so good.
So if you like enchiladas at a Mexican restaurant, you'll really like this because it's not as time consuming to make as a pan of enchiladas. And the other thing that we really like about this is we'll make 2 or 3 of these pans at a time, and then we'll throw a couple in the freezer and just freeze them with saran wrap on top of them. And then in a couple weeks when we're feeling like enchiladas again, we'll already have it made and we just have to put it into the oven. So beans are done, so we're going to add a few more chilies. And then we're back to our chicken layer. And this is kind of our last layer. So basically this casserole gets 2 layers of everything, and then we top it with tortillas and cheese. So this is kind of our last layer of meat. So we're gonna, if we use it all up, awesome. If we don't, we'll just stick it in a container and eat it in a chicken quesadilla or something later this week.
That sounds delicious.
But usually 4 chicken breasts is what I put into a casserole. This is our last layer of chicken, and then this is what we have left over. So we had made 8 chicken breasts originally, and we're making 2 casseroles. So that's what we have left over. So we usually just put it in a Tupperware, and then we'll make cheese and chicken quesadillas for lunch tomorrow, or people can eat soft tacos. We're finishing our casserole by putting the last layer of tortillas on there, and we're kind of smashing it down, kind of get the air out. You can see that the pan is like to the brim. So we just want to kind of smash it down a little bit and cover it with tortillas.
Final layer of tortillas. We're just going to put more sauce on because, again, we use corn tortillas. They're not very soft, and you need it to absorb moisture so that they get nice and soft in the oven.
So this is our last layer. So we had quite a bit of sauce left. I don't know that we'll use it up. It doesn't really matter if I use it up. I'll just toss it. Or if someone wants it for their quesadilla later this week, it can be stored in the refrigerator in a Tupperware as well. So this size pan is a little bit shy of a 9x11, but it's deep. So it often doesn't take as much sauce. When we made our first batch, it was a 9x11 pan and we used the whole can. So you can kind of just pour it on a little bit generously. It'll just seep down into your meat and fill in the holes. It's not going to hurt anything. So when you feel like you've had enough, it looks like it's good. It looks like it's going to make our tortilla soft. So we're going to add our last layer of cheese. Malia loves cheese, so she's going to be a little more generous with this helping. Leah's reminding me we forgot a layer of cheese before this tortilla. It won't hurt anything, but normally we do. After the chicken, we put a light layer of cheese, and then we keep our pattern kind of going. You can see we made 2 pans, and that red pan is made with the more mild ingredients, mild diced chilies, the mild sauce. I think the sauce says mild too. And then the pinto beans do have a little bit of jalapenos in them. But this pan we made on the spicier side. So we used the picante hot enchilada sauce. We used hot chili peppers. And then we wanted, just for a variety, the black beans. So we put black beans in it. All right, so you're going to bake these in the oven at 350 for about 45 minutes. They just have to get hot all the way through. If you make 2, you can cover one with saran wrap and then tinfoil and stick it in your freezer for up to 2 months.